Welcome everybody to the 16th class of Aparokshanubhuti. We're getting, I think, more of a deep dive than we originally intended, but it's, I think, worthwhile, especially if we're able to take the classes and consider how that actually applies to our own path, and hopefully be able to talk together with some of those kinds of questions. For myself, I always enjoy a return, or I find benefit, I guess I should say. I find benefit in a return sometimes to what seem like the simple basics, but I think those are actually what's most important in my view. If we're serious about seeing what a path can deliver as opposed to just being interested in the philosophy, and there really is a there to discover. So I think we're fortunate to be together. Just a reminder that up above there's a simple English translation of the text that the Vedānta Society publishes, very inexpensive on Amazon if you want the book also. And then in the chat is a Sanskrit commentary. Actually, I guess now it would be more than 700 years old. And it's the only extant commentary, is my understanding from Bindo. So he's going through that commentary and then bringing his own commentary to the text. Replays available here. We're still having Sunday discussions at the same time, 8:30 p.m. IST. Classes on Wednesday and Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong, Binda Ji, but we'll have the class at this time this week and next week. But then you'll be in Australia for 3 months, and the class instead will occur at the opposite end of the day at 6:30 a.m. IST, in order to accommodate you not needing to get up at 2 a.m. to do the class. And that'll be the case for about 3 months, and that'll be Monday in India. That will be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But for those of us who are on the opposite side of the globe, instead of having the class on the same days with different times than in India, in the opposite side of the globe, say in the U.S., the classes will actually be Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday. So just letting people know ahead. And happy to see the people who just popped in at the last moment, Srini Venkat, Ravati. And I'm not sure that there are any other announcements, unless you want to clarify on the classes in case people pop into the beginning of the replay, how that'll change. And then we'll turn off hand raising and chat right now. And then after the lecture, there's a half hour for Q&A. And anyone is very, very welcome to come up. I mean, there are some people in the listening panel who have a tremendous amount to offer us just by exposing their mind a little or bringing their views. And I hope you'll do that. Okay, thank you very much. Prakash, did you want to add to that, or shall we let Bindu go ahead?
Oh, I think let Binduji, if he has an announcement of the upcoming dates, maybe at the beginning, that might be useful.
Okay, thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash. Welcome all, those who have joined late. Namaste to all of you. Apart from today, there will be 3 more classes which will be of the same time, of 8:30 p.m. India time. That is on 1st of August, then 6th of August and 8th of August. We will not be having the open discussion on the 10th of August, which is Sunday, because that's the day of my travel. And the following Wednesday, which is the 13th of August, instead of 8:30, we will have that on the 6:30 a.m. Indian time. On 13th and 14th, no class. 15th again, 6:30 a.m. And instead of 17th open session, we will have on the 18th morning. Those who are in India, I don't know whether they will be able to make it, because being a working day and a Monday morning. Otherwise, from the people from the West, US, can definitely make time. And I have no other choice, because the timing is like that. It is not in my control. So that being the state, I'll keep up the tempo of the class. So those who are not able to join can definitely follow the classes on the replay and the YouTube or the podcast, wherever it is available. Always you can ask the questions. If there is any question, you can ask through the back channel and leave it for me. I will pick up the question and answer it in the class, so that in the next replay you can listen to it, and that way we can keep in touch with those who are not able to attend the class directly. Having said that, let us start today's session. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrubhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murtibeda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Aparokshanubhuti. Sri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaramishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. So in the last class, we concluded the 37th verse, which says Tatraivacha Samakhyata Swayam Jyoti Tarhis Purushaha Jada Paraprakashoyam Katam Syad Deha Kappuman. It was talking about the Purusha, which is self-illumined in nature, which has been referred in the Shruti, which is the Brihadaranya Upanishad, 4th chapter, 3rd section, 77th mantra. So, having completed the contrary, how can you think that you are the body? With all the different examples which has been mentioned by the logic, by the Shastra, and by the common experiences. Acharya Shankara is continuing, but in a slightly deeper aspects of our experience, plus how we are being guided by the Vedas for that purpose. Even there, whether we take the Vedas of the Purva Mimamsa or Uttara Mimamsa or Tarka, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, everywhere there is inherent reference to the body being separate from the self. That is being highlighted in the next verse. Proktovi karma kandena hi atma dehad vilakshanaha nityascha tat phalam bhunkte deha padad anantaram. He is a avyayam or a word which is used in different meaning. Here it is used in the meaning of since or whence. Karma kandena means karma, which the kanda means section. Karma kanda means the section which is ordaining the karma or the Vedas, which is called the Purva kanda or Purva section, from the first part of the Vedas, where it is talking about the different activities are like yajna and nitya and naimittika karmas, or do's and don'ts, etc. All of them are included in that. That is what is called the karma kanda. The middle one is called the upasana kanda or brahmana. And the ending one is the jnana kanda or the Upanishad. So here is referring to karma kandena api, means even the sections which are indicating about do's and don'ts of the Vedas. Atma dehad vilakshanaha. This self is being very clearly indicated as different from the body. Dehad vilakshanaha means it is different from the body. Nityaha cha means it is also being indicated as nitya. This is not only The Upanishad is saying the Atma is Nitya. Even Karma-kanda is saying Nitya indirectly. Prokta means he is declaring. Yataha dehapadat anantaram tat phalam bhunkte. How it is indirectly indicating that the Atma is Nitya? Because dehapadat anantaram, after having completed this life in this body, we abandon this body. That is why it's called dehapadat anantaram. Dehapatanam means the body falling down, or we abandoning the body, or the body being discarded. Anantaram means afterwards. So after when we discard the body, tat phalam bhunkte atma. Tat phalam means karma kandasya phalam. All the fruits of action of karma kanda is being enjoyed by atma, just as Sorgadi, Sorga, Brahmaloka or different loka are achieved by the karma, is very indication that there is somebody who is the owner of the activity, even though there is difference in the way in which Advaita looks at it and the way in which Karmakanda looks at it. But here the main content or the point of contest is that Atma is separate from the body. Therefore, the enjoyer of the fruits of action is the Atma, whether he is going to Surgaloka or Brahmaloka, or but due to bad actions he is going to the lower world of punishment, like Atala, Vitala, Patala, all those things. So this is what is being conveyed in this particular verse. So not only that Jnanakanta, Upanishad is indicating that Atma is Nitya and it is eternal. Karma-kanda's indirect reference to the enjoyer of the karmas is also indicating that this is Nitya, the Atma who is the even though he is an Adhyaksha, or maybe he is the one who is the presiding for the activity through the body, he will be continuing for enjoying the fruits of action. Now, Vidyaranya Swami is very explaining this in a very detailed way. Atha astham idam jnanakantam karmakande api dehatmanoho vedaha eva nirnayita iti aha proktam iti. So, idam astham means leaving aside the discussions of Jnanakanda, Jnanakandam idam astham, Karmakande api, even in the Karmakanda also, Dehatmanoho Veda eva nirniyate. Deha and Atma are two separate. There is difference between them, is being clearly distinctively reflected and ascertained in the Karmakanda. And how does it? Proktam. The word used is proktam means declared. So the word is declared, iti proktam iti. That is how the Vedas say that. Proktam iti hi is that it is already stated. In the shloka we saw that. Yasmat karma kantena api yavad jivam agnihotram juhyad. This is a order in the karma kanda portion or the Purva Mimamsa portion, that yavad jivam agnihotram juhyad. Yavad jivam means as long as there is life in this body, agnihotram juhyad, one should perform agnihotra. Juhyad means it's a yajna, so yajanam should be done, agnihotra janam should be done, one who is living until the body falls off. This is the injunction from the Karmakanda portion of the Vedas. ityadi rupena karma pratipatakena vedabhagena ityartha. This is only one example. Yavat jivam agnihotram juhyad. Like that. So, Sorga kamo yajayata is another one. Those who are, is desiring to achieve Sorga. Of course, Sorga is achieved not through this body. So you have to abandon this body, which shows that Sorga kamo yajayata. There also, the injunction is that one who is desirous of Sorga after this life should do yajanam, or the ritualistic activities of the karma-kanda. Ityadi rupena. Ityadi means this, like this, there are many places where it is being similarly declared by the karma-kanda. Karma pratipatakena vedabhagena. That the injunctions of the karma portions of the Veda is what is being indicated here. Atma dehad vilakshana prokta. So if this declaration is an indirect declaration by the karma-kanda that Atma is different, dehad vilakshana is different from the deha. Katam iti ata aha nitya iti. So since it is not directly saying that Atma and deha are bhinna or separate in the injunctions, it is indirectly being told. So the Purva Pakshi is asking, or the opponent is asking, Katam iti. How is it said? How do you say that it is how the karma-kanda is in declaring that the body and the Atma is different? Nitya iti. So the one word, this is the beauty of Sanskrit commentaries. By giving one indicative word, that indicative word stands for the entire declaration of that aspect of the Veda. Just by the word Nitya. The word Nitya in the shloka is indicating that there is something which is eternal in that aspect of karma-kanda, who will be the beneficiary for the fruits of action of the karma. To indicate that, the word Nitya is used even in the Purva Mimamsa. So that is why the word Nitya. Nityatvam cha kutaha iti ata aha tat iti. So is the word Nityam directly mentioned in the karma-kanda? So the answer given is that tat iti. The word tat is referring for the result. That tat phalam. See where the fruit is being referred, fruit of action is being referred, it is referred as tat. And that is why Sorga kamo yajeta, when it is said that the Sorga kamaha, Sorgam is not something which is attained in this life. Because there is no Sorgam here in this life. So, Sorga kamaha yajeta, when it is being said the one who is desirous of Sorga should do this yajna, is showing that tat phalam, the fruit of action of that yajanam or that yaga, is there afterwards when you abandon the body. That is being indicated by the word tat. So nityam, tat, these are the word short, indicative words which are used for that purpose. Deha patat anantaram tat phalam anityam karma phalam yat atma bhunkte. This is the sentence itself. Deha patat anantaram. After the fall of the body, tat phalam, the fruits of action, anityam karma phalam yat atma bhunkte. Anityam. See, that is why the fruits of action are not eternal. See, that is the reason why there is a time period when the fruits of action will be available, and it will be available only during when it is made available by the yajna. Like, if you are lighting a lamp, it is an action. No, the lighting the lamp will give the light only if it is dark outside. So there is a need for the time when it is to be done. And it is also not eternal, in the sense that depending upon the type of the lamp and the wick and the oil or whatever may be the fuel used in that, it is not going to burn eternally unless you keep on replenishing it again and again. But that becomes a second karma. So the first karma, when you light the lamp, that lamp has a duration which it will be giving light. So therefore the karma-phalas are not eternal. Same way, the karma-phalas which you are doing in the body or during that body being used, the body is not eternal, nor the karma-phalas are eternal. And there are indications in the Vedic chanting that the karma-phalas are not achieved through this body, but it is also not eternal. But there should be somebody which is eternal to observe that and enjoy whenever it is made available. But the self that experiences them must be eternal. So this Atma, therefore, is Nitya. Because karma-phalam yat Atma bhungte tat Nityam bhavati. Iti. Ataha Nitya ityartaha. Therefore, that is the one which is Nitya, not the body. Because body is not eternal. It is therefore all activities which are done by the body will not fructify while living. Therefore, there is a Atma which is there available for enjoying it after this life. Chakarat Nyaya Sankhya Adau Api Evam Eva Dehatmano Veda Varnida Iti Darshita. Now, one word is used by the word cha in the verse when we remember it. What is mentioned there in the verse? Chakara. Where is he saying that? Proktovi karmakandena hyatma dehad vilakshanaha nityahascha. So nityahascha, that cha is indicative of similar dictums or injunctions in Nyaya, Sankhya, Adi. In all the other philosophies also, there are differentiation between the Deha and Atma, which is being explained in those Sankhya and Nyaya, etc. To indicate that is this word cha used in the shloka is what is the explanation given by Vidyaranya Swami in this commentary. Then we'll go to the 39th shloka. Lingam cha anekam samyuktam chalam drishyam vikari cha avyapakam asadrupam tat khatam syat puman ayam. Now, lingam. Lingam means liṅga-śarīra. Sthula-śarīra, liṅga-śarīra. Sthula-śarīra is the physical body. Liṅga-śarīra is all the subtle body, right, starting from the pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha, which we have studied in the Taittiriya. So all the subtle bodies are included in one word called liṅga-śarīra. So even that, aneka samyuktam is consisting of many parts. Many parts means aneka linga samyuktam means many parts of the body. Pranas, pancha pranas are there. Then mana means mano, buddhi, ahankara, chittam. That is there. And then buddhi is another one. Then ananda is another one. So all of them have put together is aneka samyuktam. Chalam means that is moving or disturbing or non-permanent or unstable. Achalam is fixed. We call another name for mountains are achala. Achala means fixed. It doesn't move. Drishyam. Drishyam means opposite to drik. One who is seeing, they all can be objectified. All these bodies can be objectified. Whether you are pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya, kosha, these are all objects of perception for the Atma, from the point of view of the Atma. And vikari. All of them are vikari. They all go through modifications. The pranamaya kosha goes through the modification from the childhood to the adults. And same thing, manomaya kosha, vijnanamaya kosha, anandamaya kosha. All of them are vikari, means changing. Cha avyapakam. Vyapakam is the nature of Atma. Atma is sarvavyapi, we say that. Whereas opposite to that, avyapakam means not vyapakam, which means they are all limited within the physical body. We experience our pranamaya, manomaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya kosha within this physical body. And therefore, it is the limitation is being felt by us in this physical body. Asadrupam. And they are all not sat. Sat is that yadna vyabhicharati, that which doesn't undergo change. Therefore, asadrupam means that their nature or their form is asat, means they are changing, ever changing in nature. Whatever we know that this liṅga-śarīram or the sthula-śarīram or liṅga-śarīram, both are changing, ever changing. For every day, every moment it is changing. Tataha, therefore, kadam ayam puman syad. How can this be the Purusha inside or the Atma inside, who is knowing the changes? So if we look at that, Atma is not aneka samyuktam, is not consisting of many parts. There is only one awareness or consciousness through which we know that. Chalam means it is not unstable, means the body is unstable, whereas the instability of the bodies of the pranamaya, manomaya, etc. are known by the Atma. And they are all drishyam also. They can be objectified. You know your pranas, you know your mind, you know your intellect, you know your anandamaya kosha. And vikaritvam, they know, we Atma knows that the changes happening in all these things, from childhood to old age, all the aspects of my sharira, whether it is sthula sharira or sushma sharira, the gross body or the subtle body, it is going through changes and all changes are known to me. So the I am, this Purusha, the one who knows these things, has to be separate from it. And how can that be the body? If we are thinking that this is, your body is the Atma, I am this body, then you are making a gross mistake. So when we look at the commentary of Vidyaranya here, Nanu evam sati Vedāntinam apasiddhantaha syat ityataha aha lingam iti. He is taking up the objection. If this is the case, that means the self is different from all bodies, then wouldn't that doctrine of the Vedāntin also become defective? Apasiddhantam, will it not be apasiddhanta, means opposite to their own siddhanta? Then because it is self is different from all bodies, how will it be? To this, the answer is saying that lingam. It is, we are talking about the liṅga-śarīram, not Atma. So when you think that liṅga-śarīram is Atma, no, there are people who are identifying the prana, I am the prana. There are people who are thinking I am the mind. It is the mind which is knowing everything. Everything happens when all the knowledge is taking place in the mind. Awareness is in the mind. And it is the awareness of the mind is the awareness of Atma. Like that, there are people who are thinking the mind is the Atma. Some people think it is the intellect or the buddhi which is the Atma. And then there are people who are thinking that Atma is Ananda Swarupa. Therefore, the Ananda of the Ananda Kosha. There are people who are thinking that is Ananda. That is the Ananda of Atma. So all those things will be refuted because they are all Sukshma-śarīra. That is what the opponent is asking. So that is being answered saying they are all liṅga-śarīra, not Atma. Linga means, liṅga-śarīram means tat parokṣādi dharma visishtam. Parokṣādi, parokṣatva means that it is not directly perceivable like the physical body, yet it is, their presence is derived by other means of knowledge. How? Dharma visishtam. Due to the qualities with which they are identifiable. Like we know that the smoke is the reason with which we can identify fire. Same way we can identify the pranamaya sharira, manomaya sharira, vijnanamaya sharira or anandamaya sharira due to the qualities of each of the sharira. Even though physically we cannot perceive them as sharira or the body, like the physical body. Therefore, it is referred as liṅga-śarīram. Linga means subtle or sukshma. Ayam nitya aparokṣa svabhavaha puman kadam syad na kadamchit ityartaha. Ayam means this subtle body, nityaha aparokṣa svabhavaha puman kadam syad. How this linga body can be with eternal and aparokṣa svabhava. It is not directly perceivable. How can that be the Purusha? Kadam syad? Na kadamchit ityartha. So the answer is that it is not, absolutely not the subtle bodies are the Purusha, which we are talking about. So you are confusing your subtle bodies as the Purusha, not as the Purusha itself. You are mistaking for that. Chakara karana shariram api nirakritam. Chakara, that the word cha, here also the word chakara is the cha, is used to here to indicate not only the subtle body, even the causal body, that is Ananda Sharira, is also beyond the Ananda Sharira. There is a Karana Sharira, which is being considered by those who are making the distinction between the Shariras. So Stula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, Karana Sharira. There Sharira Trayam, they say that. The subtle body is the one which is, they say that is the one which is in the deep sleep, as per them. And because all this Jagrat Swapna, the cause is embedded in the Sushupti Avastha. Therefore, Sushupti is the Karana Sharira for Jagrat Swapna, is one set of philosophies who are thinking that therefore the Karana Sharira is there. And then Sukshma Sharira is which is explained in the, we experience it in the dream. And then even in the waking we know about the mind, intellect and the prana, etc. So Anayo api Vedaha Linga Dehasya Vailakshanya Suchakani Visheshanani Aha Aneka iti. So the differentiation between two, emphasize the difference between the subtle body and the self. Vailakshanya Suchakani Visheshanani Aha. That is the certain distinctive features, Vailakshanya. Liṅga-śarīrasya. So, Suchakani Visheshani. Anekani. That is many. Anekani means many. Starting with the word many, anekani. So what are the anekani? Aneka samyuktam. Deva manushya adi nana stula sharira sambandha yuktam. So it is not only the human body. Deva manushyadi nana stula sharira sambandha yuktam. The subtle body is connected with various gross bodies of human beings, gods, etc. Hence, it is associated with many forms. What is the Sharira itself. Then, Yadva Shrotradi Buddhyanda Saptadasha Kala Samyuktam. In the physical body, there is a subtle body which is consisting of 17 parts. Saptadasha Kala Samyuktam. That is the Panjendriya, Panja Karmendriya, Panja Prana, then Mano Buddhi, Antakarana. That is the Saptadasha Kalas. Sotradi Buddhya is starting with, that is the mind, intellect is starting with that subtle instruments or the instruments of sense organs, then sense organs of action, or Panja Prana, which is 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15. Then Buddhyantam in Mano Buddhi, which is Antakarana. So that is the 17 what is being referred to. Tada chalam achalam, chacha chalam chanchalam. Tada chalam cha chalam. Mana pradhanatvad. Chanchalam chanchalam. Tada chalam chanchalam. It is moving and fickle. Chalam, moving. Chanchalam means fickle. What? Mana pradhanatvad. Because primarily dominated by the mind. All the subtle bodies are it's dominated by the mind. When the mind is agitated, our breathing becomes faster. When we become angry in the mind, our breathing becomes, different. Like that, there is a dominance of mind for the subtle bodies. Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya, all of them are getting affected by it. Punaha Drishyam. Drishyam means, again, the perception. It can be, reduced by inference. Mama idam shrotram. This is my ear. Mama idam manaha. This is my mind. Ityadi. Mamata aspadatvena atmanaha upasajana bhutam cha. So, ityadi means examples of like my mind, my ears, etc. Mamata aspadatvena. Depending upon the word mamata, mine, we are using mine. My body, my breath, my mind, my intellect, my emotions, my intelligence, my thought, everything is mine. So, mamata aspadam means it is depending on the minus, the mind, not minus, but my-ness. That my feeling in the, that is what is called Atmana Upasajjana Bhutam. It is the reason is Upasajjana Bhutam means it is to the self, it is an accessory. Upasajjana means accessory to the mind. So it is, so we discussed this in one of our earlier classes that Sankhadam Parartatvad. The agglomeration or the coming together of many things is for somebody else. This is a famous nyaya or what you call usage in the common logic. The example given is the bricks, the cement, the mortar, the roof, the windows, the door, everything has come together not for the purpose of themselves. They didn't want to come together. It is for the purpose of somebody who wanting to live inside that building. These things have come together. Okay, we have brought them together. That's a different issue. But they have been brought together because they wanted to come together is not the reason, because somebody else wanted it. Same way, this deha or this body, starting from the physical body, to the prana, to the mind, to the intellect, to the ananda, all this body have come together for the purpose of somebody else. And that is Atma or the self. Therefore, it is upasajana bhuta Atma. Atmanaha upasajana bhutan. This is the why it is come together. Punha vikari. Upachayadi mat avyapakam parichinnam asadrupam atmatyanaka bodhyam cha. Now let us analyze each of the word. Punaha, again, vikari means that which is subject to growth and change. What is that? The subtle body is mutable. Therefore, it has got a growth and change which is indicated by the word upachayadi mat. Upachayadi means growth, change, decay, etc. The Shat Vikaras. Avyapakam, non-perceiveness. It doesn't have the permeability or the perceiveness of Atma, which is Atma is Vibhu, Sarvavyapi. That is not there. Therefore, Parichinna is limited. Asadrupam, the unreal in the essence, means we know that Sat is that which doesn't go through changes. So Asat is the one which has modifications or changes or alterations happening in them. Therefore, it is Asad Rupam. All these bodies which have come together for the purpose of Atma is going through these changes like Upachayadam, Avyapakam, Parichinnam, Asad Rupam. Atmatyanaka Bodhyam cha. Atmatyanaka Bodhyam. Atmatyanakam means knowable through the knowledge of the self. Bodhyam means knowable. Knowable through what? Atmatyanaka Bodhyam. It is the knowledge of the self. Atmatnyana. Knowledge of the self here, we should not consider that self is separate and the knowledge is the quality of that. Not like the whiteness of a rose or a whiteness of a flower or the whiteness of a cloth. We cannot call it that way. Here, the jnana of self is its nature. The nature of the Atma is knowing or knowledge itself. That is, the knowing is a noun, not an activity or an verb. The knowing is like the shining. The shining of the sun is not an activity per se. It is the nature of the sun which to shine. To shine is again a verb. But it is the nature to shine when we say it is not an activity here, but it becomes the nature of sun. Same way, to know is the nature of Atma, means knowing is the nature of Atma, means Atma Swarupa is the Jnana Swarupa. Therefore, Atma Jnana is the knowledge of self, or the nature of the self. Atra idam akutam. The word used by Vedānta is a very specific word in Sanskrit. Akutam means the paryayas are ashaya or avipraya. Now, what is the purpose or purport of this statement, all these statements? Yadyapi liṅga-śarīre adhyase na atmanaha kartutvam bhoktruttvādi bhavaha tatapi atmanaha swataha tadabhavaha jnanena adhyasa nivritto kartrutvaha bhoktruttvādi bhava siddhihi abhava siddhihi kartruttvādi bhava siddhihi. Yadyapi, even though liṅga-śarīre adhyase, through the superimposition under adhyasa, superimposition is the adhyasa of the subtle body. Liṅga-śarīre adhyase means liṅga-śarīra adhyase na atmanaha kartrutva bhoktruttvādi bhavaha. The self appears to be the doer and enjoyer in reality, but it is not kartrutva bhoktrutva. by the knowledge that these properties do not inherently belong to the self. Tatapi atmanaha swataha tadabhavaha jnanena. Atma, this is the place where we have to compare this with the light. Light has no intent or desire or activity to shine objects other than itself. Because it presence of light, everything becomes lit. Therefore, we say the lamp now lights up the room and the objects are visible. But the lamp has no intention, desire or activity of any sort for the objects to be illumined and made it available to us. Same way, the self, the Atma, has no intent or desire or the action of knowing. In the awareness, that knowing or the awareness, everything becomes known. Pasya bhasa sarvamitam vibhati. This we discussed earlier. Adhyasa nivritto kartrutva bhoktruttvadi bhava siddhi. Upon the removal of that superimposition, adhyasa. Adhyasa is what? Now we have to look into the word adhyasa. What is the adhyasa? Kartrutva bhoktruttvadi bhavaha eva adhyasa. On the Atma. Atma is nishkriyaha and nityaha. There is no intent on the Atma. The awareness or the knowledge or the consciousness has no desire. There is a explanation given in one of the Upanishad that Leela Nyayena, as if the Brahman or Atman wanted to enjoy the world, so it became many. This story is only for the purpose of explaining the multiplicity being explained in the world as if they are real. If it is only real, there will be a real desire and real intent on the part of Brahman or Atman to explain or real things outside. It is not playing with anything outside. That is why we do not need one lamp to see the other lamp, because the lamp is self-effulgent. Same way, the consciousness of awareness is self-effulgent in nature, and in that itself, whatever is happening is in itself. There is no separate, because the problem with the light example is that light is separate, the objects are separate. But if we look at our methodology of knowing, an object is known not because the object entered into my intellect or the mind to be known. The light from the sun or the lamp got reflected on the object. It is that light which is coming through my eyes and making me feel the presence of the object. The object was present earlier, before the light came, but that time the object was not known to me because it was pitch darkness. When the light came, the light is the reason why I am able to see the object. So what I am seeing is the light, but we feel we are seeing the object. That is what is called the adhyasa. Same way, the self is awareness or knowing nature of the self-awareness. There are no things outside awareness which becomes known to me. What is being known to me as the world is similar to the objects in darkness, and they become known only when the awareness is there. It's a very subtle, very minute way you have to juxtaposition yourself to understand the import of the statement. So when we are saying that the world of objects, it can be by touch, light, or any of the sense organs. In the absence of the sense organs, nothing is known. The sense organs are nothing but orifices for my awareness to reflect upon the objects to become the knowledge, whether it is touch, taste, or smell, light, or whatever it is. So you will say that the awareness which is there goes through the sense organs, engulfs the object, and then you come to know the object is known to me. This is how the Nayayikas or the Nyaya Vaisheshika school explains that knowing principle, how the principle of knowing takes place. That is, there is the Atma Avachedaka Chaitanya, then there is a Indriya Avachinna Chaitanya, and there is a Vastu Avachinna Chaitanya. Avachinna means conditioned by or divided by. So there is Atma, which is now the Chaitanya or the Chit or the knowledge or awareness is conditioned in the Atma. It is conditioned by the Indriyas and conditioned by the object outside. When this three merges like three dots of water, when you merge them together by a finger, all the three merge together to become a single pool of water. Same way, these three knowledge aspects of the self through the sense organ, and the self is present even in the object also. That is also awareness only, because asti vadi. It is the nature of the every object. If it is asti, means there is the sense of being, and being and awareness are not separate. So this is how the Nyaya Vaisheshika has explained. So this way of knowing the object is the reason why we say that the Atma is knowing the object. Actually speaking, there is no activity per se, because their Atma is sarvavyapi. It is present even before you know the object. The object is existing means it has got Atma in it. It is not that when you are objectifying an object, the object becomes alive. No. The object is there. The easiness in the object is the existence and awareness. That is sarvavyapi. All that we are using is, we are using our sense organs to connect it. And that is what is called the adhyasa. The sense organs are the one which is giving the superimposition, feeling that I am the knower. The other one is an object, and for me to know it. So this activity of knowing is my subjective activity, and available to be known is the quality of the object. This itself is the superimposition, which is being called. When adhyasa nivrittau, when we understand it properly, that tatsya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati, that everything is nothing but Atma or Brahman, when that knowledge is taking place, adhyasa nivritti takes place. This superimposition feeling is removed. Removes what? Kartrutra bhoktritvadi. that kartrutva, bhoktrutva, that doership and enjoyership, which the Atma is enjoying separately, that is the revealed Bhava Siddhi. That is how we have to understand this particular statement. Idi Vedantinam na kinchit apasiddhanta anyavat. Thus Vedantins are not at all guilty by any doctrinal inconsistency, as many of the cases other than non-Advaita schools think about it. They have got different ways in which they are kartrutva, bhoktrutva, which is being effulged. So that is what the whole aspect of these two slokas. I'll stop here. The 40 and 41 we will take it in the Friday class. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, Vindaji. Thank you very, very much. Hand raising and chat are open. So anyone's welcome to come up and discuss today's class or the prior classes if they'd like to. Share your thoughts with us or get clarification from Vindaji. While we're waiting to see, here comes somebody. Welcome, Venkat.
Namaste, Venkat.
Namaste, Venkatji. You're muted.
Binduji, namaste, Binduji. This
Namaste.
38 verse you took us through. The karma khanda, difference between body and Atman, while body is changing, diminishes. The fruit of action done by the body, reaped by the Atman, right? That was the summary, right? This is bit confusing. You take an example of, take the example of sun. The sun shines. The sun shines, and there will be germination of a seed, and that it grows into tree, and fruits will be there, and the fruit of all that. In Taittiriya they use the sarva karanatvat. That you can attribute sun is a root cause of all this life forms as an attribution. Overall attribution can be done. Can we do the same thing as he is reaping benefits? Because there's nobody to reap benefits of all this, right? Why reaping benefits is used while cause is fine. Root cause of all is understandable, not the fruit of action. Why? Why it is this way?
Right. This is exactly what the sloka says. What the verse says is that the fruits of action is attained by the self is the statement by the Purvakantin or the Mimamsas. Therefore, they are saying that body is different, Atma is different. Advaita is not agreeing to that fruit of action part of it. He is only using the statement of the Vedas where there is Atma, which is the enjoyer of the fruits of action, as per the Veda. So how do you think that your body is the one which is the Puman or the self? Only to negate that aspect of the self being identified as the body, this particular part has been taken by this thing. But what actually is that is an adhyasa is explained in the last verse, which I explained.
So you need to shift to the next verse to clarify this problem.
Yes, it will go to the next verse.
Okay, that is clear. Now this is, is a preamble to the next one.
Right.
So now come to the body. The way it is projected is the liṅga-śarīra, the subtle body, is having the adhyasa, the whole superimposition is for the liṅga-śarīra. For reason, the mind is dominant, and whatever sense through whatever is through the senses is seen as real. That superimposition, now we're shifting the attention. You instead of use that light of awareness as the way to solve this superimposition, by saying that this is light and the senses are creating the superimposition, while the light is simply, you have to change the view of this entire thing by you are seeing the light of, that's simply light of awareness. Awareness is there, superimposition coming from the sensual gathering. Is that the shift the shloka is asking you to look at?
No. In fact, if you look at this way, we are having the sense of reality for the objects through the sense organs, whether it is vision, touch, or etc., whatever may be the 5 sense organs. Therefore, we feel that what is the reality which we are sensing, the qualities with which these 5 sense organs can observe it. It can be the form, or it can be the name, or it can be the adjectives of the object like smell, taste, etc. Those things make the object appear to be real to us because it is touchable, or you can sense it. It is visually seen, you can see it. It has got color, it has got taste, it has got, all those things. When we say that, these qualities which are used by the sense organs bring multiplicity into it, and therefore I am smelling it, I am touching it, I am tasting it, I am seeing it. All these type of kartrutva bhoktattvadi upalakshanam as sub-qualities are being added for the reality of the object. But what is the reality in the object? Is what you see, is it eternal? Are you seeing the nityatvam in the organ, in the object? There is an astitvam in it. There is an easiness in it. Are you able to see that through the sense organs? No. Are you able to see the awareness aspect of the self of the object? That also we can't see it. Because they are not, for the sense organ, they cannot, it is not it. That is why aparokṣatvam. It is not pratyaksha by the sense organs. Therefore, there is an aparokṣatvam in every object that is not visible. In the absence of incapability to see the aparokṣatvam or the non-direct knowledge of the easiness and awareness of the object, the dependency of the mind for the sense organs, for the other qualities, is the superimposition on the object's real nature. So when I say Venkat is a real object for me, when I am saying that, I am giving reality to the name Venkat, the form which I have seen, the sound which I have heard, whatever interaction we had, all those things are the reason why I feel Venkat is real. Now Venkat has got an Atma which is the reason why Venkat is what Venkat is. Because we know Venkat is not the Deha. Venkat is not the mana. Venkat is not the intellect. Venkat is not the prana. Venkat is not the Anandamaya Kosha. There is a Atma in Venkat. That Atma cannot be seen by my sense organs. Therefore, the name and form of Venkat, which the sense organs are transacting with, is the reality with which I am grasping the reality of Venkat. And therefore, Venkat becomes a reality to me only when I am able to bring in all these qualities together. Not these qualities are in the Venkat are on the body, mind, intellect and all those things. But all the body, mind, intellect and everything is dependent upon the Atma, which is not possible for my sense organs to grasp it. Therefore, what happens is that I am not knowing Venkat, but I am attributing reality to Venkat because of the sense organs mentioning all the aspects. This is what is called the adhyasa. This adhyasa will go only when I identify myself as Atma, and that Atma is sarvavyapi, and there is nothing called Venkat separate from me. That feeling, when it is that experience and that intuitive knowledge, when it is there, even though I will be seeing the Nama Rupa through the sense organs and everything, I am not getting deluded by the sense organs and the sense thing. All those things are used for transactional purpose. But I know Venkat is not the Nama Rupa or the qualities with which I know Venkat. Venkat is the same Atma, which is the Atma in me. The same what is in me is what is in you, what is in everything, every atom of every existence. When I take that as my reality or my own, that becomes my truth. It is not my knowledge. That becomes my truth. What am I in reality becomes that. In that moment, in that knowledge, there is no two. There is only one. Atma. Sarvam khalu idam Brahma. Or I am Atma Brahma. This Atma of mine is the Brahma or is the whole world. That is my truth. I can't even call it as my experience. But that will work as knowledge during my waking hours as a transactional knowledge. There I have to depend upon the words, the mind and everything for communication. But that communication, I know that is being used because of the words and everything. I also know at the same time that they are all dependent on the sense organs of action and knowledge for the purpose of transaction. In reality, there is neither transaction, no kartrutva, no bhoktrutva, nothing of that sort, doership or enjoyership or nothing is there. It is only one and one truth, all through pervading, like, space, how we can see that this is something which is subtler than the space, which is all pervading.
Yes, Bendoji, this is very comprehensive. I'm trying to now put the full perspective. Suppose I'm seeing a person. Sum total of what is seen visually heard through the ear, sum total of the sensual experience, bring together a capture of a object or a person or any moment for that matter. There is some total that creates an objectification. Objectification is total of that sensual capture. There is something threading all this together into that presentation, and there is a knowing of all of this, knowing that brings it together. So if you take the sensual experience and the knowing, and there is an illumination of it, illumination, capture, and there is a knowing of all of this. So that creates the entire capture. So the perspective is, the shift is the knowing that precedes. There is a illumination that precedes. There is something you used as the shift to the light, right? Knowing as a light. You used a shift that light is what, as the, preceding everything. Light of knowing, or that's a bit, or light of awareness, to put it. You used a certain shift in this whole thing. What was the context of this shift?
That is, when you are, when you get rid of the adhyasa, actually the shift is not happening as a separate entity. It is only removing the veil which was making us feel as a victim of adhyasa, and that is dropping. The curtain falls down, or the gown which you are wearing falls down. That is the reason, that cover was the reason, what is called the adhyasa or the superimposition was the reason why all of us are feeling the individuality and separatedness. So this superimposition is due to dependency on the mind and the sense organs. This happens only in the waking or dream. And that is why in the waking we need to answer this superimposition. In reality, we are neither the waker nor the dreamer nor the deep sleeper. We are Atma all the time. But when we are in the waking, we depend upon the mind and the sense organs, and that is the time when we are under superimposition. The superimposition by itself is not a culprit, but the superimposition being taken as a reality is the reason why the separatedness comes. Like the nature of air to demonstrate water in a desert, which we call it as a mirage, is natural due to the temperature. It is a phenomena by itself. But misunderstanding that to a water due to sense organ dependency is the reason why we see water. Later, when that is being replaced with the correct knowledge that it is due to the different density of air, we are seeing the water in us, and there is no real water. The knowledge, we have the real information that there is no real water, but the eyes will still see the water or the difference in the air differences. Same way, the shift which we say that in the Atma level, when we say that, is we know that we are Atma, because you can deny everything, because just one word, Venkat, you have to always remember. Is it known to me? Then I am different from the known. Anything which is known, including your idea about imagination, feeling, thoughts, understanding, sensual informations which are coming through the organs, anything objectifiable, is it known to me? Then I am not that. I am the one in awareness in which the knowledge is taking place. This problem is that the knowledge and awareness which we talk in the waking is different from the nature of awareness or consciousness. That is never knowable. You can be that, but it can never be known. Because to be known, it has to become an object for the mind. Only when the mind can objectify, it becomes a knowledge of the mind. But when the mind itself becomes incapable of knowing, that is the time when the mind becomes no mind. How can it become incapable of knowing? Because mind can think or do anything only if you have a objectifying nature to it. The mind itself is a self. How can the mind know itself? No, mind can never know itself. What we say that we are knowing the mind is actually we are knowing a previous thought by a subsequent thought. When we are having a thought, knowing the thought and having the thought together is not possible. You can be minutely dissected in such a way that you can walk by the the shadow of the thought, but still you will not be able to merge with the thought and know the thought while it's happening. So when we are saying that objectifying the mind, we are actually doing is chasing a thought. When the objectification is stopped, this chasing will stop, because there is nothing to chase. What will the mind, the last thought will look up to the previous thought. The previous thought is not there. That cannot do that. That is why even the last thought cannot be there, or the mind cannot be there as a knowing principle at that time, because it becomes itself. That self shifting to that itself, when the mind becomes all knowledge, because there is nothing else, therefore we say all knowledge. If there is something else, then we have to say that and the mind. No. When the mind is all, the self and the mind are not separate. There is no separate entity called the mind apart from the Atma. The Atma itself is the mind. But when the adhyasa takes place, on the superimposition takes place based on the objectifying nature of Atma, the confusion takes place, or the adhyasa takes place. Why it is taking place? The only answer is Maya. There is no explanation given there, or else you have to take that is the nature of awareness itself to be like that. Therefore, one has to identify whether I am objectifying, or when I don't want to objectify, what am I? Is the shift which will happen. That is what I said, like the curtain falling or the gown falling down, you will be exposed. That is the only time when you are at it. And that time there is nothing else other than that, yourself. There is no I also. See, the last one to drop will be the ego. In the whole, even though we are giving names for this, they are not there in reality. It is like this world is there, even the mind, intellect, the ego, everything is not really there. What is really there only is Atma or Brahman. But for the purpose of solving an equation, we bring all these names and forms like metaphysical, philosophical, Advaitic and all those things. And when it is all not there, Yatra Veda Aveda Bhavati. Even the Upanishads are not there. The Atma name is not there. Brahma name is not there. You cannot use anything of that matter. But when you are using the names, then you are into the Adhyasa. And you have to superimposition. Into that time, the last one which will hold on to that superimposition is the sense of I. I am the one who is knowing. That knowledge, that's what I said, the Sakshi has to drop even the last aspect. I am the witnessing agent. Everything else is witnessed. That even the I am the witnessing agent becomes the last of the straw. Or the last nail on the coffin, you can say. That also has to go. Then, there are no words. Yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa saha. There is no word or mind separate. There is no objectification, no subject and no object. Sarvam, there is only one, Sarvatma Bhava. That state is beyond words. We cannot explain. Nobody can explain. Neither the Upanishad has explained. No word. They have all used negative words to say that the mind cannot reach there. Because the words are for the mind. Therefore, yato vacho nivartande aprapya manasa sahavan. Or adrishyam avyavaharyam achintyam ekatma pratyasaram prapanchopashamam shantam shivam advaitam chaturtam manyante sa atma savitneva. All those mantras are there of this thing are only indicative of that. But what you are can never be taken away from you nor attributed to you. Because what can be taken away or attributed cannot be you. Because you are permanent, you are nitya, always there. Not you as Venkat I am talking about. I am talking about you means the self. There is no way we can expand it, no way we can contract it. Because that is all, that is only that. So either we can contract it nor can we expand it. That is why Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. So all those statements from the Upanishads are apparently contradictory only to say that in the contradiction the mind should die. The adhyasa should die. And then you will be to yourself.
Very, very comprehensive, Vidurji. I'm trying to summarize this shift in, I think, three characters. I think I'm trying to read back this, able to digest this. One is the adhyasa, the superimposition is seen comprehensively and recognized. Number one, that's the first shift. Second shift, that giving a reality that Sakshi or I'm seeing is the one giving reality. That reality is recognized and dropped. There is no, because that first one is recognizing adhyasa, second one is that seer, I am giving reality to this objectification, that further reaction to it, that will go. The second shift. The third shift is there is no point looking for why all this, because it's all in eto vacho nivartante. That whole of it, whatever the mind process, cannot ever able to recognize the source of it because you are that. So these are the three critical aspects you took me through. Did I lose anything among these three?
No, you're not lost any of anything. But it's very important to remember one thing. However much we try to explain, the inexplicable can never be explained.
Yep.
Therefore, to talk about Atma or Brahman, even the words are not permanent in nature, because beyond the words and mind, the only way is to become silent. That is why Dakshinamurti, Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvam Yuvanam. That's the only way to convey it. The real truth can be never conveyed. It has to be known is a word which we can use it, but not known as we talk through the mind to be known. It is that the knowledge knows the knowledge. Even those state terminologies cannot be used. I don't know how to explain it. I'll rather keep quiet.
Thank you, Vedānta.
Thank you, Venkat. As usual, all the things you ask they're excellent. So you've carried a lot of ideas through for a number of years now. So it's time for us to close, and I know there might be people who would have had questions they didn't raise their hands for. I know there's things I'd love to discuss, but we can bring those next time. That's fine. I did want to, I'm looking something up right now. Just give me 1 second. I wanted to refer people to a certain room that Bindaji did quite a long time ago. And I'll have it here in just a moment if you allow me. So there's a house called Earnest Inquirers. It's Yesh's house. He used to do a lot of things in it. And I guess it would have been in February of 2024. There were a lot of great discussions in that house. And Bindaji wasn't... Oh, I wonder what that is. Hold on. That's really strange. I apologize. There's some alarm going off. Oh, I see what it was. Okay, I'm getting my feet underneath me. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Okay, I can refer you to the room. There were a lot of discussions on some of these topics that showed up in the chat today, on self and on adhyasa. And Bindaji was speaking about adhyasa today, but it hasn't been a word that's being used a lot right now, but it was in the winter of 2024. So in Earnest Inquirers, unless it's been removed, it was there a few months ago. There's a replay of February 29, 2024 in Earnest Inquirers, and it's an open house, so anyone can join that house and find that replay. And I think it touches on some of what was discussed today and definitely answers some question in the chat about what adhyasa is and how is it that it could exist when everything is actually the absolute. So I wanted to point that out because it's been a wonderful room for me to listen to over and over. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you very, very much, Bindaji. I know it was kind of quiet right after the talk and just asked if there were questions because I had some things on my mind about the class. It was excellent. So please join us again on Friday at the same time to continue and bring our questions at that time. What else do we want to cover? Replays available here. And also, remember, there's always the YouTube channel called Advaita Retold that has a real diversity of classes. And I don't want to go into what my question would have been today, but let me just say that it's really obvious that these different documents and different authors also have very different flavor to what they're doing. And I know I often mention how much I love the Nasadiya Sukta class that Binduji did, and it's there on the YouTube channel. As a contrast to this and a contrast to the Upanishads and Shankara's commentaries on them. So I think I'll leave it at that just because we're going over time a little bit. Prakash, did you want to add anything, or shall we have Bindu close?
No, just a heartfelt thanks to Binduji and for everyone to have showed up. And again, over to Binduji. Thank you.
Thank you, Atmisha. Thank you, Prakash. And thank you, Venkat, for your questions. It was very helpful. I think a lot of people would have found it quite helpful for their introspection and manana nididhyasana. And we'll continue this because next two verses are also equally important in the same way, in the same pattern. So next Friday also will be very interesting. Let's see you all on Friday. Hari Om. Good night.
Right, Balaji.
I am.